As most PM listeners are only too aware, the mosh pit is the pulsating heart of the audience at any heavy metal concert, an area generally just in front of the stage where metalheads will gather to jump and stamp, throw themselves against each other and sometimes surf on the upraised hands of fellow music lovers. The mosh pit may look anarchic, but there are rules within that heaving mass of sweaty bodies, unwritten but commonly understood ways of behaving and communicating. Where there are group rules, there are anthropologists studying them. And Lindsay Bishop from University College London believes she can draw a connection between the mosh pits of bands like Combi Christ, Pig and Fear Factory and the remote tribes of Papua New Guinea.
Well, this is something that is fascinating. Everyone that I've spoken to over the last 10 years of this research, essentially, has their own story about learning the rules in their first mosh pit. So that perception of it being chaotic and violent and angry is what even some metalheads have in their head before they go into their first mosh pit. So I had a good quote from Galen, one of my drummer friends, said that, I was a teenager and I just went into the crowd and started being violent. And then someone grabbed him by the back of the neck and then pointed him in the right direction and put him into the mosh pit. And that's generally how it goes. So you learn that way, sort of by force almost.
Cutting me apart! You don't go into the mosh pit and seek to hurt people. There are sort of internal and understood rules of what you do and ways of communicating within the mosh pit.
Absolutely. It's physical and it is violent. You collide with each other deliberately, but it's not out of a place of anger. It's release and catharsis, and that's what makes it really different. I think that's what people don't understand. There is rules. If someone falls over, or anywhere in the crowd, in a metal crowd actually, if someone falls over, you pick them up right away. It's all unspoken, but you just learn about how other people treat you, and then you then pass that on.
So what were the parallels and similarities that you found between the rules of moshing and of being a heavy metal fan and the rules within these thousands of year old tribes?
I'm focusing on performance and ritual. So it's performance as ritual. That's what I'm looking at heavy metal as. So it's very distinct from Western performance. It's got a lot more in common with ritual performance in, for example, these tribal communities in Papua New Guinea. I would say, the transmission of etiquette from elders certainly has got an awful lot in common. Again, material culture has given me an interesting perspective as well. How people treat the like plectrums and drumsticks and drum skins, or T-shirts in particular, are very interesting. They've got to be bought in the venue on that day. If they've got dates on them, that's the best one, because in 20 years' time, you can wear that T-shirt and say, I was there, I've been doing this longer. They're meaningful to you. You keep these T-shirts, even once the sleeves have fallen off and you can't wear them anymore, you keep the fabric because it's a physical connection to that event. This translates quite interestingly, again, back to these tribal communities where, they don't make these artefacts as just something to look at. They possess agency. They have this sort of power to them.
What do we learn about ourselves when we study mosh pits and when we learn the connections between mosh pits and tribal societies?
What I would really like to address is the ongoing stereotype of, the brutish, misogynistic dullard. I mean, we have this immense global community now that takes on people from different political persuasions. You get hardcore right-wingers and left-wingers all around the world, people with different religions and genders, certainly, sexualities. I think one of the main things that I've taken from my research is this desire for community. I think that's what metal really shows us. It's that kind of belonging.
Lindsay Bishop from University College London.